All right. In and out. Why are you breathing like? No, it's not for. I'm talking about how you would go into a bathtub. In and then you would probably get out once done. Depending, maybe unless you're some sort of kind of mermaid that only lives in a bathtub. In which case, I would say, for God, please stay in there because. Well, you could always come out and maybe go to the store and then. But I would imagine you would need to kind of stay moisturized. Moisturized is an interesting. Hey, can I have 25 cents? I want to go to the podcast machine. And just kind of put a and then open the little metal flap and put my hand under and catch the podcast. Catch one. What color is it? It's that color. The color doesn't change of me necessarily. I remain, but I do wear different colored things. So I suppose in that sense, am I? Maybe I'm today. I suppose I'm. Hey, everybody! Welcome back to the Hole in the Pen Cap. I'm Reier Cammerman. I'm owner of a hoodie. I'm a unicyclist, comedian, subjective. But I think so. I would give it, and this is episode 23 of the Hole in the Pen Cap. What a fun journey we've had so far. We're on, I suppose, this episode with 23 and me, we could kind of find out our genetics, right? Create a family tree. I feel like they never talk about family trees for trees. Now, do they though? What would that, hey, just because I'm an oak doesn't mean my grandfather wasn't a, I think that's maybe the only type of tree, a redwood. Maybe I have some kind of Indian lineage. But everybody says that. They have a little bit, but it's like you can't claim it if it's only that much, Would a redwood be Native American? Maybe I did. This is welcome. What a fun time we've been having, all of us together, kind of just kicking a ball around inside and having fun with it because it's the risks are higher, I suppose, and in a metaphorical sense, of course, not. Thank you to everybody that came out to Janesville last week. I'm filming this on Thursday. I think we're gonna put it out tomorrow because I always upload on Thursdays, but then for whatever this week we recorded on Tuesday, and then I just didn't like how it. I guess it's kind of starting in a similar way to this. Maybe I don't mean to put a bad omen, but like I was stuttering a lot. I didn't really know why, but it made me not really like the episode. And I know we've talked about it, and you guys say, yeah, just put it out anyways. It's like, I'll just give it another go. We'll just get back in line for the diving board and do another dive, and have the judges judge this one, and you'll say, well, that's not fair. Everybody else only got one try. And then I say, well, no, they can have other tries too. We can all keep, everybody can give it another go. God, I loved the diving board as a kid. Just getting, you climb up that little ladder, so it kind of seems like a playground equipment a little bit, or maybe like a tree house, or and how in like really old libraries they'll sometimes have ladders. I think that was in Harry Potter. I don't know. I didn't watch Harry, but I've seen parts of most of the movies, I think, and I think I've probably seen the full. Honestly, I've probably seen the full first one, but I just never was overly engaged. It was too long and kind of complex, which is an interesting thing to say about a fantasy, a movie about a little boy becoming a wizard, which aren't we all? Right? Rhino, honey? Is it rice and beans? Riot, rite of passage, rite of passage. See, this is, I think, maybe the reason that working out scares me, and it's kind of a weird connection, but because whenever I work out, I do a similar thing where once I start, uh, the I make myself keep going, even if I'm like just now. I started trying to come up with Reier nicknames, and I decided in my head, okay, we've got to get at least two. And even if it hadn't, it's probably not great content to just be watching, just be watching someone try and come up with nicknames for themselves uh, over kind of quite a few seconds, and then speak about it for much longer. But that's how my working out would end up, is always, I start and I go, okay, right, we're gonna do 20, and then but it's actually harder because then once I get to like 15, I change the number in my head, like almost like I'm tricking my. It's kind of unfair, I go, all right, we're at 50. Okay, we're 25, and then I'm getting close to 25, and I go 30. And at this point, the push-ups are horrible, and they were never great. But is anybody else like that with working out? Like you want to do it, but you're worried that you're just not gonna let yourself. That was always my thing. There almost too much integrity, that it made it just a horrible experience. Where if I was doing push-ups or sit-ups or whatever, and there was one that wasn't perfect, I would not count it, and then I would just end up taking forever, and I would be so miserable because I would be in a lot of pain too, and then it just made working out a really dreadful experience. But I do enjoy doing like I don't know if I ever talked about this, the time where I had my elderly I would say grandmothers are typically elder, but she was probably late 70s, 80 something, and I was 16 or 17, 16, and I was visiting her with my dad, and I decided that I needed to do, I think it was like either a 3 or a 4 second handstand. For whatever reason, it needed to happen. And I asked my grandmother to time me each time I did the handstand. And then once it got to 4 seconds, we'd stop. And I think I just thought it was going to be so much faster than it was. And it ended up being hours of my poor grandmother just sitting there, and then me dripping in sweat. And we didn't have music on or anything either. It was like silent, me going again, and just thrust, and it had to be an actual 4 seconds. And I was very, like, a couple of them, my grandma was like, I think you're good. You hit it. And then I'd be like, no, I was counting in my head too, and it wasn't, it was 3.5 or 2.5 or whatever the number was. So yeah, I guess you would say maybe that's OCD, but I don't know. I think people, whenever you say you have something, people always, they go, well, everybody's mentally ill nowadays. They go, yeah, but I don't know. Maybe it's worse if maybe you actually have something and then you're trying to just say it's not a mental illness. It's just kind of quirky. Yeah, I'm not. No, I don't have ADHD. I just kind of like to walk around my room 50 or 60 times before making the bed. That's what everybody, that's quirky, right? Quirky. What a word. Quirk. Clerk. The Quirky Clerk by Reier, Cammerman. Once upon a time, there was a quirky clerk. He lived in a cloud made of trees. Not just one single tree. But the trees kind of are like clouds, aren't they? Like the top, the green part, the leaves. They're like land trees, And then clouds are maybe like sky. Well, trees are land trees. It's odd. I said they're like land clouds. And then clouds are like sky trees, and plains are kind of like plains are like sky. what would be cars? I get, but remember, I feel like that's always been something we've talked about is like the modern world, the modern world is going to have, or the not modern, but future world is going to have flying cars. Does anybody really want that? I mean, I guess it would make things much faster. We could kind of travel around the world a lot more. I wonder if that will happen. What an interesting thing, because then you'd have to have kind of traffic control and everything up in the sky too, and then at that point, yeah, we would still have, cars on the ground, because when people are going closer distances, they wouldn't need to go into the sky, I suppose. Yeah, it's interesting. Did you ever do, as a kid, they would make you think of what the future is going to be like, and I don't think I ever thought flying cars were kind of in the cards for my lifespan. I mean, I think it would be cool, but I've always thought maybe a vacuum you don't have to plug in would be nice. I think we've got the Roomba, or a vacuum isn't so loud. I think they do have quiet vacuums, but they're still kind of loud, and I don't know. I asked my manager if we could buy a vacuum for the club, and she was like, well, I just think it'd be hard to plug. Where would we plug it in? It's like a giant, the showroom's so big. It's like, oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I guess we could get an but then I also kind of retracted, and I went, yeah, it's probably unnecessary. I don't even know why it just gets dusty. A Dusty by Reier. Not another Reier, but they didn't use the last name. And I wonder if have I not been speaking into the front of the. Oh God, we are doing well. We're going. I don't want to jinx myself. Do you believe in jinxing? Jinx. I could name a child that. And that's maybe the reason I probably won't have. I would love kids. Probably by adoption, though. And I used to always say that I want to adopt a child with special needs, which kind of sounds either like you're trying to get someone to praise you or really weird. It's like, what's the reason, though? I just think I have, like, the patience. I don't know. Maybe, and I worked at special ed and I'm passionate about it, but yeah, I guess patience, maybe. Which you would think, oh, you have patience. I don't know if I come off as necessarily patient, but I mean, especially if it's a child, because kids are so happy that it's pretty easy to be patient with them. Maybe that's not true. That's not true, actually. I know for a fact that's not true. When they're having fun, when they're being sweet, but then when they're being mean, it's like, oh, yeah, I guess this isn't fun anymore, but yeah, thank you so much to everybody that came out to Janesville. I headlined a show there, and that was my first time headlining out of the state, and also I think out of Austin even. Out of Austin headlining, which has been really cool. People came out. A lot of people. There weren't. It wasn't huge, but it was good. It felt good, because the people that did come out were talking to me afterwards. And they were like, we watched a lot of them. Thank you for watching the podcast. Let me know if you want to comment down below that you were there. You actually don't feel obliged. Because it does seem like I'm asking for. Thank you for coming out. I had a wonderful time. There were people that were saying they drove from Madison, Milwaukee, and which was so nice. And I guess I don't know. I guess and I said this at the beginning of the show, I would never really expect people to come. I do try very hard to get them to come, in the sense, but I also don't want just anybody in this. I do, but I don't, because like when one of the Reier and Friends that I did here at the Creek, I recorded the Creek in the Cave, not the comedy club, the landform. One of the shows I did here at the Creek in the Cave, I had some younger comics, or not younger, but I had some comics barking for me, and they did a wonderful job. They did so good. And but some of the people that were barked in were like a bachelor party, who had no idea what they were coming to watch, and they were not having fun with me. I mean, I think they really enjoyed the openers, which is always great. It's always good when they, but the issue with that was they enjoyed them significantly more, and then they were like leaving and kind of shouting out some, and I just don't do well with the shouting out, because I don't know. I mean, crowd work is just not my, unless literally the crowd was full of different objects. Then for sure, 100%. If the crowd work is started by me, and the crowd is not answering, then yes, wonderful, get it started. I love it, I'm so appreciative of people watching and enjoying my comedy, and I don't know. I think I'm in right now. I'm in this period where I'm figuring out how to kind of adjust it to my current experiences and the things I'm going through, and in my person, because my personality isn't changing as I transition, but it is, I would say maybe in a sense though, because I'm becoming a lot more confident, which is good. It's, scary too. Confidence is scary. I know I've said that a few times on here. Confidence is a scary thing. But it just because at what point do you stop being confident, maybe you continue being confident, but then you stop kind of doing the work to deserve that confidence, or you stop being good at the thing that you're confident about, and then at that point it becomes delusion, which is delusion. It sounds French, doesn't it? Delusion. No, but I had a wonderful time. Okay, we got a guest. That's it. And we also have some highlighters. You'd say, well, why are those? I think I thought it would be funny to put them there and then maybe utilize them as the guest. But then, because there's so many different colors, there's probably a lot we could cover. I thought when I came in to record on Tuesday, and then I ended up just kind of scrapping the episode because I didn't like, at the beginning of this episode, I didn't like how it went. But I was thinking of maybe asking my friend, Jovan, to do the episode. But then because he's visiting from New York and he's so funny. And we were writing earlier that day, at Buzzmill, 24-hour coffee shop. God, that Tupperware of tension. Is my mouth dry? Is my mouth wet? That's weird. Is my mouth wet? Yeah, I guess, it was that Tupperware of terror, that cushion of curiosity, that box of brownies. Sometimes they have pastries. They do, but it's not brownies typically, I don't think. I think it's like, muffin. I think they maybe have some muffin tops. At my high school, and at the high school I worked at, I think maybe at most high schools, for breakfast, they would have these, just the top of the muffin, which, yes. Why have we not done that always? I hope it's not making a loud sound when I hit against it on accident like that. We can keep that thought inside, right? The thought doesn't like the outside. Because it's, it's hot out there and it doesn't have, the thought doesn't have sunscreen on. And it also, it just kind of moved here from Alaska, the thought, so it doesn't have warm weather clothing. Well, it can borrow my shorts and a shirt. Yeah, but the thought is a different size. The thought is about 2'3", and about 9 pounds. And you'd say, wow, what? That's kind of, the logistics of that seem strange. 2'3" and then 9 got to be really light. And I'd say, yeah, they don't have as much food I think they probably have quite a bit of food in Alaska. I don't know. It's not really. I don't think there's a lot of. No, I'm thinking it. Okay, that's crazy. I was thinking Antarctica was Alaska. Alaska's a state. People just live there. Like Americans live there. Not that if you're not American, you're not. Of course, everybody is a person. That is a person. But then, where do the lines blur, Rye? Well, it depends what the lines are made out of. If they're made out of some sort of blurry material, what would a blurry material be? Maybe a liquid or blur. Well, what's blurry? Blurry is like the way you see something. Maybe like a really thin metal could be blurry. No. It's something's blurry depending on your eyes, right? I don't think something could just be blurry before, just kind of inherently blurry. Maybe concepts are or social standards or whatnot, but I went to Janesville and I had a great time. I got to see my mom, which was wonderful, and saw my mom. Did I see my brother? I don't know. No, he wasn't. I don't think he wasn't there. But I got to talk to him, on the phone a bunch, and it was great going home. While I was right after I left, I think it was the next day. My mom messaged me, and she said, that my grandparents were asking why I hadn't come over, and I just said, well, it's the reason that this is relevant is because my grandfather just passed away, and I heard about it the day after this text happened. So I didn't know he hadn't passed away yet. This was like the day before. And my mom asked why I didn't go over, and I said because I love my grandparents so much, and I respect them so much. And specifically my grandfather, I just felt like he maybe didn't agree with, I don't know. I think maybe it's my anxieties too, but he's a wonderful man, and he was a wonderful man. But I think at some point too, like with older people, you don't want to stress them out and make them, have to change the way they think, because it's a very different time that they're from. And I don't know. I just thought he maybe didn't agree with my lifestyle and whatnot. And I said that to my mom, and she was like, no, she was very supportive of it, which was interesting, because I think I wasn't fully sure if my mom knew. I still am not fully sure if she knows about the trans thing. I don't think so. I think she was maybe referring to being gay, which is interesting. There was kind of a lag there in that TV series of life, right? It's very interesting. Yeah, it's kind of like, when you watch maybe Breaking Bad, or you watch some show, and you've watched the entirety of it, and then your friend just starts it, and they're talking to you about it, and they're like, oh, this character is so wacky, or and then you go, oh, you don't know yet? God, season 2 is going to be wild. It's like you don't want to spoil it for them either. So maybe that's it. Maybe I don't want to spoil, because if she's finding out now that I'm gay, it's maybe like a 3.5 year delay. Is what 3.5, 4 years. Because that's when I started coming out. So, but with family, with some of my brothers, I did specifically say it, but I don't feel specifically saying it with people that have known you so long. Feels weird, because I feel like they maybe already have known to an extent. And it's just scary, I think, but I don't know. I do wonder if she knows about the trans thing. I don't know, but I love her a lot, and I love, I guess I don't want to paint my grandfather in a negative light at all, because I don't, I don't see it like that. I do think it's maybe unfortunate that I didn't try harder. I just don't think that it would have. I didn't want to push that idea, but then also the way I look and just who I am, it's I think obvious. Maybe not. Maybe it's not obvious that I'm mostly talking about being trans over being gay. I think I think that would have been a lot easier. But I don't know. It's interesting to find out that someone passed away, and then the day before, they were asking about you. They were like, "Oh, when's Reier gonna come over?" So yeah, I do. I feel bad about that. And I guess that's maybe going to death is such an interesting thing. Yeah, it's such an interesting and you wanna. I don't know. You want to be there for the people that are affected, because I don't know if I didn't know him super well, and so I'm not extremely sad, but I'm sad. I'm sad for my mom and for everybody that was close to him, and he also was incredible man in the community that he lived in, and it started a lot of different things, and all that, which is so great. But yeah, death can be hard to understand, I think. Is this odd for a comedy podcast? I think it's nice to have these things recorded, to just kind of look back one day and go, oh, that's what I was thinking about right after that. Yeah, because death is odd, but yeah, back to my mom and the trans thing. I don't know. There's some people that not that I don't mind, but I wouldn't ask her to stop calling me she, I don't think. And maybe this will change in the future, because a lot of my thoughts and feelings on this stuff have evolved as I accept myself more and whatnot. But, or not she, ask her to call me he. Because I think different things matter to different people in certain ways. Like I'm her only daughter. And so maybe there is something that is, I don't know. For maybe having that is important. Being able to call me she maybe is more important to her than it is negative to me. And and I just think over time she's going to come around, because I like the things I'm on testosterone. So I mean, I just think I'm gonna grow like facial, hopefully. Not everybody does, but I would love to have facial hair and like just testosterone. It changes your body. So I just think it would get to a point where calling me she would be very strange. Like that would not be that would not be what the first thing you think of when you say, which is obviously what I want, and I'm transitioning, so that's what I want. When you're transitioning, that's the goal, but is to be the thing that you're trying to become. It would be so much simpler if we just kind of were the things that we are, I think. But maybe we are, and there's just kind of a process within that too, and but yeah, figuring things out recently with family and self-acceptance, and in there's certain things, and maybe it's coming with the testosterone and the confidence that kind of comes with that. Certain things do bother me, not to the extent of ever getting upset at someone necessarily, but like being called she by people not my family, because I think that's a different thing, which you would think maybe, oh, that's harder. But no, I just think that it's probably much harder for them, because they've their entire life, or my entire life, they've called me that. So I think there's more leeway of like, and also it's just different. But I think people that I see on a daily basis calling me she, and when you love someone, it's maybe it's easier, maybe it's harder. I'm curious how other people feel about this too, but I don't know. I like, or there's also this homeless woman. That seems not. There's also this very kind homeless woman that I see when I walk to work. See her a lot, and she'll call me she, and like, girl, hey girlie, how's the comedy thing? She has like a really thick Southern accent. She'll go, how's the comedy thing been? And she's just she never asks me for money ever. She just goes, hey, how's comedy? I went and I saw George Lopez. When I was younger, I saw George Lopez. And she's so sweet. And it's also, I don't know, for whatever reason, like telling her that would be crazy to me in my mind. I'm like, no, that would be weird to correct. But then, like, sometimes I do. What I've noticed, I've kind of started to do unintentionally, or maybe intentionally, I don't know. But someone will call me she or her, and then I'll just kind of repeat the thing they said. Like if they say, yeah, Reier works, she works over at Sunset. I would go, yeah, he works over at Sunset. Like, not to be mean in any way, but it's just because it does. I don't want to just ignore it, because then when you ignore it, it never changes, right? It never, even though, like I said, I think I'm taking testosterone and these things are happening, but like in my, comedy's my safe space. Comedy and work, those are the places that I can be seen, the way I want. And it's like and to me it's important, because I don't know, I've been happier than I've ever been, I think. Starting to see myself this way is really cool, but it's my mouth getting dry. But yeah, no, that was kind of a serious section of the show, wasn't it? But everything's been good. It's all been well. It's all been a kind of a brick tube that we put water into. That's what everything's been. Yeah, well, I've been kind of more, I think I may be in a relationship. I don't know. I think so. I should probably ask about it. Hey, I've got a question. Raise my hand, or just kind of hold the giant question mark, like those clip art figurines, and just go, hey, when you have a chance, and I'm just holding a giant question. I think I might be in one, which is crazy, because in the past that terrified me. But I'm ready to do these things that scare me, I think, which has been good. Oh, what is... I saw my favorite band ever, Rainbow Kitten Surprise. So great. They put out a new song. And on it was Valentine's Day. I don't think we haven't talked about that. Valentine's Day was fun. It was the day after the show in Janesville, so I just kind of slept all day, because I was tired. I don't know. I enjoy a good day's sleep. Night's good, but then you're kind of sleeping through the fun part. I was talking to my friend Yonder, but I think it was Yonder that I was. Yeah. I was talking to my friend Yonder about this. How being awake at night is so great, because other people are asleep, so there's almost more energy. Like, I don't know how factual or how you could even check this, but it just feels like there's more energy to be used, because so many people are asleep, and I just love it. I don't know. I love a good nighttime, and it's gotten a lot better too, because night used to be much harder, because I would get these bad panic attacks, and I haven't really gotten one in quite a while, which is good. I mean, I get panicky, but to the point of like having to take something, I haven't needed to in a long time, which is great, and I just feeling good, So I think the next thing would be exercising more. That exercising more and just finding kind of a fun way to exercise, and so that'll be good. I did a little bit of boxing with my friend Kyle, and we did a man-made episode about it. If you want to check it out, it was fun. And we're doing a lot more man-made episodes too. Let me know if there's any activities that you think might be fun to talk about, or not to talk about, any fun activities. Then I could ask around for anybody that does that or is good at that or whatever. Some people have brought up shooting, like a gun range, and I go, I don't know about that one. That's scary. I don't know. I don't like to be around guns like that. It freaks me out. When I first moved to Austin, it was brought up that I should have a gun, because at that point I was sleeping in my car, and they're like, you should have a gun. It's like, I don't want it. This isn't the impulse aisle at Kroger. I don't want to just be able to grab it. It's freaky. You want it to kind of be put away somewhere, which I guess is not convenient, because then if somebody breaks in and you have to like get out of the car and go to the trunk and then put in a 7-digit code, I guess at that point, yeah, what was even the point of having this? I suppose. But no, I think everybody's in a different situation depending on like where you live. And that happened. I called the police because the police have been kind of not prevalent, but maybe in my life I feel like me and the people around me have been calling the police quite a bit recently. Just things happen, I heard gunshots a lot. It was like 3-something in the morning, so prime time, and I don't know if that means anything, but I heard a lot of gunshots, and so probably 9 or 10, and which is maybe 9 or 10 too many. Any gunshot is scary. So I called the police and I was like, hey, I think I was maybe too nonchalant, and it wasn't that I wasn't scared. I just figured, you know that thing where you're like, oh, somebody else must be calling, because there were just a bunch. There was just almost a dozen. What's a 10? You could almost have a regulation basketball game. Isn't there 11 people in a basketball? No, it's a soccer team. It's almost a full soccer team of usage of a firearm, which is scary. But the area we live in is that stuff happens. So I called, and I was probably kind of too relaxed, but it's like, yeah, I don't know if you've heard it, but I wanted to call in case nobody else had, because that's always what they say. What I've heard a bunch is, whenever you think someone else is going to help someone, and you leave, other people probably think that same thing. So you should be the one to help, because you don't know if other people are they're probably thinking the same thing as you. So I called. Yeah, I don't know if they came. I mean, I feel like when in a couple episodes, or maybe 2 episodes ago, we talked about our neighbors that got the school bus, and then we're kind of just doing some weird motorcade throughout the block, just kind of a giant, probably the biggest school bus you've ever seen. It's so long. I don't even know how many windows, maybe like 15 windows down. I mean, it was insane. But a giant school bus that I believe was painted white. I don't remember, but it wasn't yellow. But I don't think it came that way. I think it probably came yellow, but probably was yellow at first. And then there was I think the motorcycle was next, and then there was a car, or maybe the car was first, but with no headlights on. And it just constant stopping and starting of the cars throughout the night, which was very odd. But yeah, I don't think they ever sent anybody for that. And maybe calling the police was weird, but it was so loud. Me and my roommates were all like awake and just kind of sitting on the couch, just going, what is this? But I'm glad they're having fun. As long as everybody's having a good time. That's what I care about. But yeah, no, it's been good recently. I went to Tyler, Texas. Super fun. I did a show in Tyler. They're so cool. It was to benefit, I believe, Tyler area gays, which is fun. They were really cool. Um, it was interesting to do because it was a day show too, which are usually those are pretty hard. Because comedy, with the way that I would say the way most there's a different way that you talk during the day versus at night. I think, like, even if you're a clean comic, I just feel like there's you want it to be a dark room, and you want, people. You want it to be kind of cold for whatever reason. A lot of comedy clubs keep the club really, pretty cold. I think there's some science, but I don't know. I think when you're warm, you're more relaxed and you get tired. Whereas when you're kind of cold, you keep energy and are more likely live. And then you want the lights dark because people feel less self-conscious. So I believe that's what that is. But where were we coming from? Oh yeah, but it was very fun. It was kind of strange, because it was like a lot of. I guess I don't do a lot of gay shows, especially anymore. I don't really like to do them, honestly, because I think it maybe confuses people when I put up flyers and that, because I think a lot of people still don't really know what I'm doing sexuality wise, and I don't want to confuse them further by putting up like posters that are like, gay brigade or something. That would be a weird show for a gay laughing, but yeah, it was really fun though. But I just get nervous because I think that I've some of my comedy I've tried to formulate to work in environments where not only are there not a lot of gay people, but there are people that aren't excited about that. So that's a very different energy than like a pride. A room full of people that are very proud of being gay and trans and everything, non-binary, and I'm just going in with not this exactly, but I know it's wrong. That kind of energy. I'm joking. I don't say that, but in the past I most certainly have, and no, after this I'm heading to work. God, I love my job. So fun. They started having people come in earlier, so I get in at 3, which is exciting. I like to just kind of mop unnecessarily for a few hours and light a bunch of incense and and just I have a ball. I have a ball is interesting. I have a football. I have a goal. There's so many different types of balls. I feel like just saying I have a ball is almost too broad, isn't it? I have a What's that little? Believe it's not in croquet. The croquet is the one where you hit it on the. You always bring your little bag and then you set up different little flags, right? But no, the one where it looks like a little rocket ship. And you throw it up and you hit it and it's really light and you hit it with a tennis racket type thing. I'm sure maybe it's slightly different. Maybe you have one of those. Like I'm having a ball, or I'm having a plastic funnel rocket shaped thing. So both mean fun. I don't know if that is reasonable. Reasonable Rye. That's what they call me. Everything makes sense. That's something I've been doing kind of in my my stand-up sets recently, is just going, not reasonable, but God, I just want to be like you. I just trying to be like everybody, painting myself yellow, wearing a cape. That's how I see you. And sometimes it does well, sometimes it does not. But overall, it's everybody. I think I'm getting there, just figuring out. I love little weird sayings like that, and kind of asides and whatnot, and just talking to myself a bit during the set. Even though that example wasn't really, but let's see if there's anything fun to end on. If I've got to pee so bad. I just wrote this where like a race. It's weird that they say like a racehorse, isn't it? I have to pee like a race. I guess because horses probably have really large bladders. I don't know how that would be tested. I mean, I guess it would be pretty easy to find that out maybe. But yeah, whenever you're done with a race, just kind of a celebratory. But here I wrote signing a yearbook. I wonder what I meant by that. I think that was supposed to be an opener of, hey, can I sign your yearbook? It's funny to have a yearbook when you're not in school, isn't it? Because then, the question comes, well, who is taking pictures, Because it's like, oh, am I in that? Did you, put a picture? Because then there's probably only one of, you have a yearbook, I made it, and no, I know we're not at a school, and you could have ordered one. Thank you so much, guys, for coming to the Hole in the Pink Cap. This one was wacky but fun. I hope. Let me know if you have any suggestions. It's episode 23. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.